Yo, what's going on, guys? So I'm going to take a look at the Dow Jones here. So you know that I've made a few videos on here. If you don't, if you want to check them out, go back and watch them. So we talked about a few different potential ideas of what was going on here. So we talked about this choppiness, and we talked about how it's starting to look a little bearish, but how I did have some 32K targets, and as well as 33K targets. And our first target that we hit, actually, according to this chart, I thought I only saw us at 31.9 something. So according to this, we did hit 32.08. Absolutely crazy. So we did have this breakout here, and we had that red TD9 flash. So although this looks bearish, and we showed you, I showed you some of my ideas on what this bearishness was looking like and why I was thinking it was bearish. And we were talking about this MACD, this RSI looking like a head and shoulders pattern potentially when it was right around here that it was rolling. Now, of course, we went up a little higher than expected, but if you look at this now, excuse me, there's your left shoulder, there's your head, and there's your right shoulder that did in fact form. So it's hard to say, but I'm wondering if this means that we are going to actually come down either in this range or back to this range here like we discussed. As of right now, we are getting resistance right below this daily EMA at 31,108. And we closed out at 31,169. Or maybe actually we closed out at 30,932. We wicked all the way down here to 30,900, which we talked about 30,700 being of confluence here. So we were talking about it coming down to this roughly area, 30,700. I think on the daily it was where it was. And we also talk about it coming down to 29,868 as well. So that would be based off of this wick here that we had and a couple wicks over here as well, like this wick here. And if I drew this trend line all the way over, you'd see that it was of pretty good significance over here as well on the daily, where we double bottomed down there. So I still feel like we're going down further. But in the meantime, we could actually have a little bit of a run up here. I just don't know how high. I don't know. Trying to figure this out here because it kind of looks like a bear flag here on the hourly. And sometimes these smaller time frames will tell us the potential of further downside. And this is why in all the stocks videos, I'm kind of like skeptical and not sure if I want to hold my positions that I'm trying to load up for, maybe like a bigger swing. I'm a little skeptical here. So, I'm actually just going to take a measured move from this only. Because I feel like Dow doesn't breaks down pretty good, but not insane. So if we can't hold this 30,900 level and we fall below that and get a close below, the next level down is 30,560 based off of that measured move there. So we could be heading back down here, but as of right now, the RSI is right now in this kind of oversold area, but we still look like we're coming down further. We might get a little bit of a pop in the morning. Maybe this will create a small W here that will come back up and potentially test some old support again and see if we can get any newfound support above here. On the bullish factor here, if we wanted to look at this, kind of looks like a descending triangle though, but if we want to look at it as like a symmetrical triangle, then our breakout of this would bring us, to 31,590. And you are going to get resistance here at 31,000, roughly 400. So we're going to keep the eye on that level as well. So with these moving averages that are all coming down here, this could push us down further here. So I'm kind of curious on how we're going to open. Now we didn't have any type of death crosses quite yet. I mean, we are getting this white coming down across this purple, which could push us down further here. We don't have any signs of real life yet on this 4 hour, but the only sign of life that we have here is if we were to come lower and get some kind of double bottom here, maybe bounce up this trend line here, come up, come back down, break it again. You can see the MACD cross on the 4 hour, the MACD cross on the daily, and the MACD is about to potentially, doesn't have to yet, because it could make some kind of W here, or it could just head back down. But it looks like it might cross on the weekly. So as of right now on the weekly, we are above this trend line, right? We did close above this trend line here. That was pretty tough to get above, and that is a bullish thing on the bullish side, right? It's still no sign of bouncing here, but if we could roll and actually get above this, we could actually see ourselves coming up higher, which would be absolutely phenomenal for the market. And it would kind of make sense to still have, I don't see us just going straight down here, but it's very possible that we still could, unfortunately. So we have to look at both sides of the coin here. We could have further downside here until we get to this target. Now, if we did come down to this target and this just was an M, what we would probably want to keep in mind is that even if we came down here, that doesn't have to mean a market crash, but it could put a lot of stocks in some positions that are pretty risky, which means pretty low. And, then we could look for a nice bounce here, and right around here is where we'd have to be cautious once again, because if this does create a rounding structure here, then we could really be looking at a bigger potential drop. And that's kind of what I'm going to keep my eye on here. And this is on the hourly, so I'm just kind of like drawing out speculations, but we did this last time and it so far has played out. But right now, this could just be an M pattern, or it could turn into something like another bigger head and shoulders pattern. So I was trying to find on the daily like a head and shoulders pattern here. And if this neckline was like way down here, to me it would look more, but I mean, you could draw a trend line from here, I guess, potentially, right? Let me just hide some shit real quick. So what could we do here? I'm trying to think if this would make any sense. So say that this right here is the support. Let's take a look, if that makes sense. Oh, it pretty much almost landed perfectly. So if you wanted to look at this thing as a head and shoulders pattern here, potentially, we would want to not get a breakdown below $30,900, and we wouldn't want to see an hourly close below that level. Like I said, we could still get support here. We don't have to come all the way down, but I do want to look at. This is a weird one because it's not often that I see a head and shoulders pattern that's like sideways. But I do want to look at what the breakdown target could be, and it could be lower if I'm doing this wrong. $28,814. If this turned into a head and shoulders, and if you guys don't see the head and shoulders, I'm going to just show you. That's what I'm kind of looking at, potentially, right? So as of right now, we're still inside this pattern here, which this bottom trend line support is at 31,000 even. And we still can remain bullish if we can, in fact, stay at this 30,000 roughly. I mean, what's below it? 30,965. We need to get back above this 30,100 and hold support and see if we can actually cancel this potential of this further head and shoulders, even though it's pretty damn confirmed on this RSI, in my opinion. But hopefully something will happen with the stimulus bill and everything like that. But this is obviously affecting the tech stocks, and it's gonna affect the whole market. It did in COVID as well. So obviously in COVID here, how would we have caught this if we were in the COVID crash here? You kind of have another, wow, and that was an even bigger drop, though. That's what's scary to me. So if we look at this, right, just because I want to keep this in mind, I'm not saying we're going to have a COVID crash here, but I'm trying to be cautious in case that something's going on. So you see here, this looks quite similar. And this would have been the breakdown target right here. So let's see if that made any sense. I mean, it broke down to about here, 27.9 at the time. And I would have had a target of 27.67, which it back tested that as resistance. So this is where we were before COVID. Shoulder, head, shoulder, right? Not saying we're going to have a COVID crash. Fucking hope not. Jesus Christ. I fucking hope not, guys. And this is where we are now. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Okay. We do have a lot of support below us. I didn't do too much TA prior to this. But let me look at something real quick. Holy shit. Hold on a second. That would have been fucking scary, but I don't think that that's considered anything. Thank the goddamn Lord. So, that would have been ridiculous. So what I was just looking at, but as long in a head and shoulders pattern, as long as you break the head of the head and shoulders pattern, it's unconfirmed. Thank the goddamn Lord. But if you look here, this could have been a left shoulder. This could have been a head. And this could have actually been a right shoulder. But thankfully, we bought up here. So I'm hoping that that's still considered like a break. I mean, in my opinion, and everything I've ever seen, that's considered a break of that potential. So I don't think we have to worry. If we did, however, get rejected somewhere in this neckline, then we would have to worry, which would have been here. And it looks like people were getting a little scared here because you kept seeing it like dumping, like, holy shit, is this head and shoulders? And then once it was confirmed, we just fucking went off. And once it was confirmed that it wasn't. But now, we're kind of looking like this potential as well. So, as well as a big rising channel too. So, if I was to get rid of some of this shit I just drew, we can also look at this here, and guys, I want to be bullish in the stock market so fucking bad. I don't want any of this to have this. I don't want anything to fucking crash. I don't want anything to pull back further than it already has. I think that pulled back goddamn enough. And like I said, we could still get bounces up, and we could not even come down here. We're still holding support here. We did get a spinning top on the weekly here. The biggest, most undecision one, more of a doji, because people are like, what to do? What are we going to do? And if you look here, we did get a spinning top here that we broke right out of prior. So even with this like spinning top here, this could be another one of those circumstances as well. Where's this? Why does this price say 30,900? Is that where we're really at? Because I'm seeing dotted lines up here too, so I'll have to double check on that one. But yeah, because up here it's showing 30. I'm so confused. Up top left it's showing 31,308. So are we not at 30,900? Where am I getting that from? Oh well, I'll have to double check on the Dow futures here. But anyway, I like if we are at 31,300, that's a lot better, because like I was saying prior in this other video, I was talking about 31,282 being a very strong support here. But obviously we wicked down to where we did, which was pretty low, 30,900 or 30,800 and something. And then this rising potential channel here is 31,000. So let me see if I can do. So we have to take in consideration here that this bottom support line is going to be of confluence, which is at 29,700. This red line here is going to be of confluence. That's at 29,860. And then if we wanted to even get into a little further potential, you could maybe go off of this if we wanted to skip some of those wicks. But I don't really like to skip those wicks. And it almost lines up the same anyway. Once we get here, it pretty much meets. So that's going to be strong resistance. So if we did have some kind of further dump here after maybe, some stocks bounce back a little bit, and we had a dump here, then maybe we can have enough correction to continue higher here, and that would be absolutely phenomenal. I don't want to see us come down here. I'm nervous about that, but, we just have to look at both sides of the coin here. My expectations, seeing that this is rolling down, rolling over, we still have further down in the RSI. My expectations are we are coming down to this 29,833 again. This time, though, the stocks took a lot more beating than they did during this dip, and that's the thing that's a little nerve-wracking to me. A correction is normal, but when you pull back as much as these things have, I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments, is this a normal correction, or is this a little bit drastic correction, or do you think it's just because of panic selling of new investors? Do you think it has to do with panicking because people think we might have this COVID crash again, so they're starting to get more fearful than normal? Leave some comments below with your ideas and your thoughts on all of this. I'm trying to look at this chart the best I can, and I'm trying to look at all possibilities here of support and resistance for this thing, because to me, this Dow Jones and the NASDAQ are main things that are a cause of how the rest of our stocks move. Look at the NASDAQ. This is scary to me. So you guys tell me what you think. I'm trying not to be scared here, but could we just drop a little bit lower here, and this could be a small head and shoulders pattern right here, or maybe we're going to come back up and create the shoulders on the 4-hour here? Or is this already considered a shoulder? Because if so, then we would only come to potentially 12,279, and maybe then we get a bounce and we'd come back up here to retest this as resistance potentially, or we'd come back up and further our bull run. That would be excellent. The breakdown of this rising channel is pretty damn big, though, as you just saw. So RSI, though, is way down here, and anytime we came in this level, we had some massive bounces. That's why I think that we might actually get a pretty good solid sized bounce. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, triple bottom down here on the RSI. We've came to this level quite a bit. We've gotten bounces. You can see in the RSI here in the daily, a clear head and shoulders pattern, though, which is a trend reversal. But we have to See what happens. I mean, nothing goes straight down and nothing can go straight up. I mean, this thing went straight up for quite some time. I mean, obviously it had little small corrections, but to me, these are corrections. To me, this is a potential of a dump, but I don't know. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Hit the like button. Appreciate everyone that subscribed to me. I appreciate everyone that watches my shit. I would like it if people were able to hit the like button a little more. That would be great. Makes me feel better about making stuff. I like seeing people hitting the like button, whether you like it or not. I don't care if it's a like button or dislike. That would be greatly appreciated. I know how it is. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube. I'm at work, and it's tough for me to go and like everyone's stuff. But if you can, hit the like button, that would be great. And leave a comment or something. Thanks.